Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and I'm here to do Scrapliftable with Christy and Mia. This week, excuse me, this month, we are taking on a layout from one of my favorite YouTubers, as Daisie. I just adore her. And excuse me, that was gross. We are scraplifting this, and I'll just include it right now so you can see it one more time. And my idea here is to use up some of my strips. Yay! So this was supposed to go live yesterday, the 20th, and I failed. I'm sorry. I'm actually recording this right now, literally. I'm a little late to the party. I just lost track of time and what the day was. So I am going to use up some of these strips and try and recreate Daisie's beautiful layout. And I'll get you on fast forward and let's see what I can create. So here goes the layout that took me forever and ever and ever. You guys, I struggled with this layout so much because, not because of the design and not because it was a hard layout. It actually becomes super simple, but I really, really wanted to do this layout justice because Daisie did such an amazing job with her layout. I was intimidated. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of those things, especially when they're like a scrappy friend of yours, you don't want to, I don't know. It's just, there's extra like pressure to make sure your layout looks really good because you don't want them to be like, oh my gosh, what are you thinking? Daisie would never do that. But that's how I felt. I had pressure on myself to make this layout just amazing. And it was definitely a blockage for me. I struggled with trying to figure out what to do next and how to highlight the hexagon, but I struggled. But in the end, I'm so pleased with the way it turned out, and I really think that it helps showcase this beautiful, beautiful layout. So you can see I'm working with making my hexagon. That is a hexagon, right? 5 sides is a hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. 6 sides is a hexagon. Yeah. Can you tell that I'm not a math expert? So I'm going to just do two within the thing. So I'm making this large one that you see me doing right now, and then I'm going to make a small one as well. The reason why is I didn't want to, I kind of knew what photo I was going to use, and I didn't want to overwhelm this photo because it's kind of a softer photo. So I'm trying to just make it work, and I didn't really know how to line it up correctly, so you can see I'm struggling here, but I left it all in so you could see. I finally realized that you line it up, trim it in half, like the edges so that they line up, they butt up against each other, and then it works. It's not completely even. It's a little wonky, but that's what I love about this hobby and creating things with your hands is it's going to be imperfect. They're not supposed to be this perfect little thing. So I love that. I am going to come back in and stitch around it. I love the little accent of black. I do that because this is something that Daisie did in her layout, and I really wanted to kind of showcase that in my layout as well. So that's where the stitching is going to come in here. And you can see I'm still struggling. So honestly, this took me quite a while to figure out how to get it to work and go the way I want it to. But as soon as I figured that part out and how it needs to go, the rest of the layout was easy. In retrospect of putting it together, it was easy. It was just my own mind block making it more difficult than I needed it to be. So this layout seriously sat and stared at me for 4 days before I finally was like, okay, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to make it work. And then in the end, I only add like seven things and the layout's done. It's crazy. It's just one of those layouts, I tell you. So I guess I could have cut some of this out. I apologize, but I did want to show you that sometimes we struggle, and sometimes to figure out how things work, it takes a little bit. So you can see there, I'm still working with it a little bit, but I'm going to then go in with my machine and stitch that. I also then am going to go in and trace with my pencil and do one more hexagon with it, and then stitch that with the back stitch using some black thread and just embroidery floss. I love the way this turns out. It makes a really fun added texture because of the hand stitchedness to it, and it's a little bit more you know how sewing stitching is very flat, whereas when you use like embossing thread and stuff, there's some more texture and layers to it, I find. So that's why I did that. So I'm going to poke all my holes and stitch that off camera. I obviously do not make you watch all of that. You've seen enough of me struggle with this layout. You don't want to see any more. And then the rest of it flies together after 4 days. I'm just going to layer this beautiful photo of my 2 little kids on some tissue paper. I've added this journaling card talking about how if I only had 1 photo of my kids, this would be the only photo I ever need, because it just says everything. Jackson is just showing so much love towards his sister, and Nora is showing so much trust towards her brother, and that's all I would ever need in a photo. So that's what the journaling talks about. And then I make a very simple title called Them Together. And all of this is based off of the fact that I had asked for everyone's help the other day, and I took some of your advice, and that is how this layout came together. So thank you everyone that gave me your input on how I should finish this layout, because it truly helped, and I think without you I would have been very lost, and this layout would have turned out very, very differently. The only other thing I'm gonna do is I add 2 little banners up at the top, a few sequins, and a butterfly. And honestly, that's it. This is a very, very simple layout, and I love it so much. So thank you so much for watching. I'll have the link to Daisie's original layout for you to check out, and I'll be back tomorrow with another layout. Bye, everyone.